Yo, I know what you're here for. Let's get to that sports talk, baby. You know we ready for it. We got a special guest coming up. We got a special guest coming up. So we're gonna bring in him, my guy J Lo. He's a he's a great dude. Played football together. Played DB at Teal. And he is a special Philly fan. We got a lot of questions for these Philly fans out here. So what? Introduce yourself, J Lo. What's good with you?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for having me on here, man. I ain't seen you in a long time. It's been a minute. Thank you for this
Yeah.
opportunity. And
Yeah.
you take a lot of time to watch
Yeah.
these, dissect these games and analyze them. So it's gonna be fun.
For sure. For sure. So with that, what's going on with these Eagles, J Lo? What's going on? What happened in that game? What's your mind right now for the Philadelphia Eagles going forward in the future, bro?
Going forward in the future. So it's not about what happened in that game. It's y'all laughing. I got jokes. The 49ers. Vance, I got something for you too. Your time's coming. Washington, y'all already in the hole anyway. But I gotta say, for the Eagles, it's not what happened last night. It's what's gonna happen the past 7 weeks. And it's just kind of like the warnings that's already been there before. And the Eagles fans, we ain't see it. And so basically, that's what happened. We can't stop the run. Can't stop the pass. Defense has been league's worst. Ranked 32 in the
Defense,
past. Yep. Last
defense
seven.
been crazy. Defense been crazy. It been a little out of whack. I'm like, even when y'all signed Patricia, he was a defensive coordinator. I mean, an offensive coordinator for the Patriots. He really ain't had no great history in coaching the Lions. And I don't even know why y'all even signed him for y'all DB, your defensive coordinator job. Bradberry, he didn't take a little. People doing Bradberry dirty. I don't think when y'all got him, when y'all first went to the Super Bowl and whatnot, he was a bad player. But this year he's been playing awfully. All the DBs been playing awful. The front line can get pressure at any day. Graham, Fletcher, Cox up there, them guys can give you pressure. They gonna be decent. They gonna be good. They gonna at least be good. But the backside of that has been bad, and injuries have been y'all problem. Like seriously, y'all problem.
Yeah, so a little bit about Bradbury. Playing corner, because that's what I play. You can lose your confidence real fast. And so that diminishes your play.
Facts.
From what I've seen from Bradbury, he just been kind of out of sync, out of sort. But none of that matters. You know what I mean? Players got to show up. It's the playoffs. This was a 10-1 team over the first 11 weeks. 10-1 team. Lost to the 49ers, lost to Dallas, Seattle, and they kept kept going down. And we just got exposed defensively. Like you said, our front line is great. Defensive line is great. The back end was always a problem. And people want to say we got exposed against the 49ers. I can go a little bit longer and say we got exposed in the Super Bowl. And see, people are not going to look at it like that. We lost the Super Bowl. It was clear.
I don't think y'all did bad in the Super Bowl though. I mean,
I
it
don't
was a
either. You
couple
lost by
turnovers.
3.
Yeah, no, look. That second half in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, when the back started falling apart. The only reason we stayed in that game was Jalen Hurts. And so I'm hearing all these, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts did the best he can with the
You're
circumstances.
not wrong about that. You're not
Right.
wrong about that because that game was a high scoring game. If I remember in the Super Bowl, don't know the actual score, but I'm pretty sure that was a
38-35.
high scoring game. And Jalen Hurts had to go. He did have to go back to back the drives and try to keep up with Kansas City. But Kansas City, that's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Really, nobody really got an answer for them at times when it's time to come down to the playoffs and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be so off kilter, even though y'all lost that Super Bowl. And like everybody knows, with it's hard to go back to a Super Bowl. Look at the Rams. They've been trying to do it since they won the championship, and they've been struggling season after season, even though they just lost in the playoffs to the Lions. They've been trying to do it, and a lot of teams don't repeat. So it's kind of hard to get there, and it's already hard enough that you trying to win football games throughout. It's hard to win a football game in the NFL. It is. Everybody professional out there.
Yeah, that's right. I hear you. I mean, it's just for the fans of Philadelphia and the fans of the Eagles, it's a very depressing time right now in Philly, between the Phillies. I mean, the list goes on. It's been the 76ers, now the Eagles. It's real depressing. But I can tell you what, this is a team that, one, lost their confidence, and two, lost their heart. The last 7 weeks,
Okay,
this team
I
has
got one. I got one question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
It's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of whispers out there of firing Sirianni. Right here, we see in the picture. We got a fan up with a sign talking about fire Sirianni. Are y'all actually in the minds of doing something like that?
To me personally, I'm a firm believer that when you're winning, it's all players. You know what I mean? So when the team was winning, oh yeah, they just playing great. They're playing great. But as soon as the team lose,
Exactly.
the Eagles, I think they're in a common medium right now, to where the players did decline. They weren't playing bad. The coaches will also decline and coaching bad. But I think it's a 50-50. And usually in the league, because it's a business, when you go 50-50, the coach is going to get fired. I do believe Brian Johnson has to be fired. Nick Sirianni, I feel like he may be fired in the coming
He
weeks.
gotta go. Nick Sirianni, I don't think the thing is,
You want
and
him
let
in
me say
Washington,
this.
don't you?
Let me just say this right here and put me on the big screen. Sirianni, y'all did the same thing to him to Doug Peterson, bro. He got to the Super Bowl and then boom. It's kind of like, bro, we all moved off of him too fast. Even though the Jaguars, they ain't doing that good with him over there in the Jaguars after they lost a couple of games. But it's kind of the same thing with him. It's like y'all just went to the big game last year. So to say, bro, get rid of Sirianni is kind of crazy. I just think it's some spots here and there that really need to get fixed up. But
I
the
can
head
kind of
coaching job is not that bad.
I can kind of speak to that as someone whose team's done something similar. I'll give you an example. 2013, Jalen knows exactly what I'm going to say. We had Jim Harbaugh loses to his brother. The next year we fire him. It's not enough as a team, as Super Bowl teams in our like J-Lo and I in our lifetime. He had a Super Bowl. He's won one and lost one. I've seen two in my lifetime. We haven't won them, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
J-Lo knows it's not enough to just get there.
Yeah.
Because when you get
not.
there and you lose, you're never guaranteed. Like say the Lions get there and lose, they're not guaranteed to win. Like that's why I feel like if you like Sirianni to me is the guy, because if you look at it, he's a special coach. Now I don't mean now the changes is obviously going to happen, but let me ask you a question, J-Lo.
Yep.
At one point this season, you guys were 10-1. Do you think a lot of problems were being masked because of how good you were playing? That like there was like little kinks in the armor, but you're like, you know what? We're playing so good, we can mask these flaws.
See, this is the thing. We weren't necessarily
But you
playing.
started 10-1. You did start 10-1, but you go ahead.
Yeah, we weren't necessarily playing good. Every game, after each week, after each win, there was a new gap on film. You know what I mean? There was something we showed weakness, vulnerability on film week after week after week, and then eventually it just wore out. We was finding ways to win that game. It was always late fourth quarter. We would always have to rally back. We started slow since week one. Came to bodies and tell you can't start slow in the playoffs. You're going to lose. We haven't been able to cover the middle of the field since week 5. What happened against Dallas? What happened against Seattle? So I mean, it's just I would not say we were playing good, but since we were winning, no one's going to say anything when you're winning. Now when we lose, everybody
that exactly, because when y'all was 10-1, there was still, I would say, hidden flaws there. You definitely weren't the team you were last year, but you come into this season winning games. I mean, you go like my team in Washington back here, we weren't that good, but there was games where we were going with y'all tit for tat, even though division games are kind of like that. But even in other sort of type of games here and there, y'all wasn't really looking all in sync with that team in the defensive side and sometimes with the offensive side. AJ Brown had a dominant stretch, but at a certain point at the beginning of the season, he wasn't really getting the ball a certain way. Him getting injured and not being in this game really took a toll on that 9-32, really that open margin, because if AJ Brown was in that game and then you still got Devontae and Jalen Hurts has his finger right, bro, I feel like that team beats the Buccaneers, but that defense will still hold the Buccaneers in that game. But I feel like y'all stretch that one out.
Now I got 2 more questions. One of them is more so a statement, but I want to kind of get your input on it, J-Lo. Do you think with the Eagles, I started to see a big flaw in that game against Buffalo? Yes, you were 10-1, and I understand that, but we both know Josh Allen in overtime is not his friend. Like he's 0-6, but I started to see a lot of like the middle. You mentioned the middle of the field, especially with like especially Gabe Davis, because there was a route where like he ran a cut route, and I'm like, you can't against any other team with luck on their side, they're going to run that ball they're going to take it to the house. Like, I feel like Buffalo was a game where I started to see a crack in the armor, and I don't know. Like again, like you won, so there's not really much I can say, but I feel like that was the game for me where I started to see a problem like rear its ugly head. And then my second one is, do you feel like the change for defensive coordinator? I feel like Sean Desai should still be there.
Yeah, so Sean, he was our play call defense. And, like I said, the NFL is business. After a while, when our defense started week in and week out playing bad, they just needed a scapegoat. The truth is, Nick Sirianni lost the locker room. And that's what another one is going to say, but that's behind the scenes. Nick Sirianni lost the locker room. He lost his faith in the team, lost his trust. No one's listening to him. No one's respecting him. Therefore, the heart's going. We start playing bad. He couldn't motivate us to do anything. And so that's the only reason why I think he's going to get fired. It has nothing to do with what he did team-wise. I feel like he was a great coach, and he's hired. Then my last point is, when you go to the Super Bowl, the entire coaching staff gets reported. We lost the offensive coordinator and the same offense. So we came into the season with new coordinators. So I knew it was going to be a rough start in the beginning, but that wasn't the case. We were winning games. Yeah. Now the backlash of that showed up in the back half of the season. It was just like, the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
Really.
I think Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon kind of, I don't want to say bailed Sirianni out because he's the head coach, but I feel like they, again, like we said, masked a lot of the flaws that maybe weren't shown last year. I feel like maybe those two kind of covered them a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were great coordinators. You can see in Arizona, they get the quarterback back, even beat Philly late in the season. So it's like, those are great coordinators, and they deserve to be a head coach. Like I said, Nick Sirianni, I don't know what's next for him. He does get fired, but he did have great coordinators.
So as a Eagles fan, you think he should be gone? You think he should just be gone after this year, or do you give him another chance, even though that y'all still made the playoffs and started 10-1?
I'll say this.
Like, that's kind of crazy, and y'all went to the Super Bowl last year. I feel like at least give him another more season, and plus, y'all weren't healthy on the back half of this season. Y'all was not.
I'm gonna speak this real quick from a baseball perspective, but it's a sports perspective. You can't look at what you did last year because it's a new year. I understand going to a Super Bowl, and that's impressive, but think about it like this. Dino knows what I'm going to say about baseball. When you go somewhere and like, I'm a Yankee fan, right? We've had our manager because he has 100-win season.
Love your baseball. You love your baseball.
We've never sniffed a World Series. So we're keeping a guy only because he's won us 100 games 7 times. That's not enough. But I get I see where J-Lo's coming from, because a Super Bowl is not like, if you go to a Super Bowl, you want to win it. Getting there is not enough. And I feel like with kind of the collapse that happened, I'm 100% with J-Lo on this. If he needs to go, he needs to go.
I would say this. For the two coaches that are on the table right now, Jim Habaugh and Bill Belichick.
Jim.
For that reason alone, I would say move on from that. That's it.
So, that's the crazy thing. I feel like everybody, since Bill Belichick got released, it's like, bro, everybody's job is just, you're on the hot seat, no matter what. Yeah. Like, since Bill, and plus Harbaugh, you're right, Harbaugh coming down, and say Harbaugh is coaching a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all ain't winning one. Shoot.
They've already won one.
Y'all might get close to one again. So, I mean, I understand if you got a shot at Harbaugh, he's the talk of the town right now. I understand letting him go in that situation, but I just feel like Sirianni has just I feel like he's done a good job. But I'm a Washington fan. It hasn't been great for me these past 4-5 years. You know what I'm saying? So Sirianni, to me, I feel like you were 10-1. You went to the Super Bowl. Injuries kind of derailed y'all on the back half, but the defense was pretty bad. If you add off-season pieces to this defense and let go of, you know what I'm saying, type veteran players on your defense, like, even though Graham, he has a good run. Fletcher Cox, he has a good run as a veteran. Get you some fresh legs out there, though. You need some fresh legs on defense, some young cats that can run to the football and want to commit. Y'all won't commit like y'all were last year in the Super Bowl. So I just feel like if Sirianni, y'all add to that defense in the draft, in the offseason, you still get your pieces back with A.J. Brown. Y'all the second leading in wide receiver duo and with yards 2,522, I think, which is crazy. I think above y'all is Waddle and Tyreek Hill, something like that. But it's crazy to say that both of y'all got kicked out like that, though. Like the best offenses really got kicked out at the duo slot at wide receiver. But give Nick Sirianni a chance. Give your man a chance next season. I feel like we still need to see him. We
So
need to give him.
Let me take one here. So you mentioned about you feel like he's lost the locker room. Why do you feel that is? Because I feel like as an outsider watching it, I could see why you'd say that, especially like off of yesterday. But why do you feel that is?
Body language loudest. And if you watch the Eagles past 7 weeks, you can tell every game the body language has been bad. Even from my leader, Jalen Hurts. Even in the game last night, yeah, he was playing hard, trying to make plays, but the head shaking, constant head shaking, the head shaking from Jason Kelce, a guy who doesn't even show that much emotion when things are going bad. So that's how you knew the locker room was kind of shifted. There's nothing at that point. There's nothing that Nick Sirianni can do. You know,
so it's too far gone, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I believe coaching change in Philly. And you know how
exactly. And let's just say this. It's been a good week for some fans out there like Washington, like us. The Eagles going down in 1 week, and we got the Cowboys going down in the first round too. Kick right up out of there. My second overall pick is looking sweet, guys.
I'm gonna give you some credit here because Jayla, I'm gonna give this man some credit here. So we did a podcast like maybe 3 days ago. 3-4 days ago, whatever the game was.
3 days ago.
We had to make picks, and I said I wasn't strong enough to say that Green Bay was gonna win. What I said, Jayla, was I want Green Bay to win, but I didn't think they would. Right before we click end, he yells, Dallas is losing. I was like, whoa.
And look, I yelled it at the end. I'm like, yo, I said, I want them to flop. I said they look like the better team, but they could flop this one. I told you, don't just wait. I'm like, Stephen A, don't worry.
Then he starts texting me during the game. He's like, you watching this? I'm like, yeah.
And then y'all made it even sweeter. So we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about your boy, Kelce, your guy. He's out of here. Is the O-line going? Is that going to separate what's going on with your offensive line and trying to protect Hurts and stuff like that? If y'all would have won this playoff game against the Buccaneers, would Jason stay? Would Kelce stay?
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, we still be in. But what I can say about Kelce is this: from the beginning of the season, I knew this was going to be his last season. He kind of at that last year. The only reason he came back last year is because he believed that we could make another run after we lost. But yeah, no, it's going to be a big hole, big gap. You're going to be able to tell. Like Jason Kelce, he was the Peyton Manning of centers. All right. The reason that Jalen Hurts, let's not remember Jalen Hurts 2 seasons ago when his first start, we were 9-7, went to the wild card round and got destroyed by Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Bucks. That was Jalen Hurts' first start.
Yeah.
Then his progression I think is solely being on because Jason Kelce calling out the blitzes at the line of scrimmage, calling out with this, getting ready to come. So obviously you're not going to be able to find another center like that. But like I said, he's a Peyton
Hall of Famer. What
absolutely
six time? Yeah, first ballot, 7-time All Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler. The man's a dog. Do you think the tush push kind of weighed him down this year? Maybe he had another year, but that y'all did a lot with that O-line getting down and dirty. I was guaranteed that's a layup for y'all. It didn't look like that in the Buccaneers game, but sometimes you get a team to stop it. But over time, y'all got a high percentage on that play. So did Jason Kelce, you think he got broke down or what?
I mean, all right, I can say this. When a player like that, and same with Tom Brady, I said this about Tom Brady. When you have a player like that, the only reason they retire is because they're just mentally done playing. I feel like these guys can keep playing. Jason Kelce can play next season. All right.
Yes, bro. I think he got into this podcast, got a little soft with his boy Travis. You know, Taylor Swift in them over there. I think he got softened up on that podcast or something, and that's why he don't want to go out there. Because I feel Jason Kelce, you still at the top of level at your game. You still the best center in the NFL, and you just leaving like that. Look, Tom Brady said if he still had it in him, he was going to play. And that's
He
why
played
he
with
almost
50,
came back.
yeah.
He almost came back for a second time, Tom Brady. Remember that news? He almost came back for a second time until they threw him a little retirement party. And then he came back another time and tried to play. He felt like he had some momentum. But we seen Tom Brady kind of slowed down. Bruce Arians, he got sent up to the front office. So he's trying to run his own team. He's trying to be the coach and the player. And you can't really do both. And Tom Brady, he kind of flailed off. No, and Tom Brady, if he comes back, I just don't think he just can do it anymore. These
I don't think he should. He's got
a
apparently he's got some huge like TV deal with Fox. I don't think he's coming back. I think he's done.
Yeah, nah. Because you got guys like Aiden Hutchinson, Nick Bosa. These are guys that are coming off the ball, running 4.5s. What is his name? Will Anderson from the Texans. Man, run like a 4.4 flat. Like Tom Brady ain't sitting in the pocket too long like that to try to find people that, like I said, Mike Evans, that's another thing. Let's talk about this right quick. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. I don't understand why the Buccaneers are letting him go into his last deal, go as like a free agent or whatnot. Give my man Mike Evans some respect, even though he dropped that touchdown pass in that game and stuff. But 1,000-yard seasons for like 8 straight seasons. Come on, bro.
Yeah, so I got a question for you, JLo, before you go here. So you mentioned about like as an Eagles fan, like I'm trying to figure out how I'm trying to word this. So do you feel as an Eagles fan, I think because you and I we've had like our little like we're boys, but we've had like when our teams would play each other, obviously, like we would like trash talk a little bit. Do you feel like the 49er game for you kind of like not like broke the straw that broke the camel's back, but what do you feel like in that game? Was it the playing the 3 games in 13 days, or was that just unlucky? What do you think that was?
Yeah, so physically, I think that took a toll, but at the end of the day, fair, like team in the league, and at the end of the day, these are guys getting paid to play football. You got to show up, and I just think that realization of that game just made us think that we're not good enough yet, and we had to go back to the drawing where we got better. Instead of getting better, we just kind of gotten worse. So we just didn't respond to that game. That was a great. We were 10-1, like I said. That was a great curve, but we just instead of getting better, we just kind of and that's where if you want to point coaching, that would have been if you want to point Nick Sirianni, that would have been the point there. You don't after you lose a game.
I heard that some of these guys weren't prepared for this game and stuff like that. I heard little whispers about coaching and stuff, but
that's why I said to be fair to him because they had played. That was their 3rd game in like 2 weeks.
Right.
To be fair to them.
Yeah, exactly.
On us, but at the end of the day, it was a domination. It didn't look like we even prepared at all for that game.
And the crazy part is, it's not like the Buccaneers are a great of a team. I mean, it really looks like y'all came out there, even though y'all had the injuries and stuff like that, like the Cowboys, just not prepared, not anything going on. You're running the same plays over and over again. It's not working. It's not like that defense over there for the Buccaneers is outstanding. You got Vitave on that front line. Of course, that guy might stop a tush push here and there, but you got not a great defense over there. That offense, Mike Evans, he's still a baller. Godwin, still a baller. Running back did great that game, but I'm not saying this is not an offense that can compare to your offense for real, like especially if it's healthy.
If I'm looking at it
early in that game, but
if I'm looking at a team like the Eagles as compared to the Bucs, I think anyone in this listening to this knows the Eagles are the better team. But I just have a feeling, and I think Jill would agree with me. Flaws just got exposed, and the wound just started opening. They're a better team. Like 100. Like they're. If you had to put money on it preseason, the Eagles are a better team. It's just, I'm just trying to pinpoint that one thing that it could be, and I'm struggling to find it.
It could be. I know the one thing it could be. It's one game in the playoffs. If you don't show up, you can end up losing. Look at the Eli Manning and them going into the Super Bowl and them beating an undefeated team and Tom Brady with all these guys on his team. Any game you show up, it just takes one game. This ain't NBA. You go on 4 games and 7-game series and you got to win 4 games and stuff like that. This is one game. You're done. The Cowboys, if they would have went against Green Bay a couple more times, you don't think in the 7-game series, you don't think the Cowboys finishing that off,
Probably
going to
win
the
the
next
series.
round? Come on, bro. Cowboys are winning the series, but it takes one game in the NFL, and when you don't prepare like Sirianni and all these whispers, you're not preparing like Mike McCarthy, you're not preparing, then you end up losing, dude. And that's
What
just is
do
what it
you
is.
think
But
it is, J-Lo?
Like I said, when I came on the show,
Yeah.
It was one game. Yeah, it's one game in the playoffs, but this was a course of 7 games. We couldn't tackle. We couldn't score. So in the NFL, once you get on a streak of bad habits, you're going to really need to start fast, get up on teams when you can't even score it. Like Brian Johnson, and this is offensive coordinator, and I think he should be the first one to go. You know, he's getting head coaching interviews. I don't understand why. Brian Johnson, I mean, this guy has called 260 screens, right, for only 90 yards, something like that. The screen
total,
yeah, just total. The play calling was terrible, and we just got away from the 49ers game. This is an RPO team. All right, we run the RPO and we go vertical. To run the RPO, you got to run the ball. You know what I mean? We wasn't running the ball. DeAndre Swift, this is a free agent. I won't be surprised if he doesn't want to resign with Philadelphia, because every game he's gotten the ball, he produced. You know what I'm saying? So it was just somewhere down the line we got away from our personnel and we strayed away from what works, and we just made everything hard. Everything hard.
And like a team like the Dolphins, y'all rely on a lot of go balls, one-on-one balls. Y'all those plays, they get you big plays, but those are simple plays. No lie, those are simple little. You got the better receiver against the better DB. Y'all rely on that AJ Brown to go and snatch it up. Y'all had a good year. I would say y'all had y'all on the back end. It wasn't that good, but overall, you still went into the playoffs. I don't think you overhype it. Cowboys, it is a different situation. You running your mouth all the time and all that running your mouth, and then you end up in a situation like this where Jerry Jones looked like he crying at the podium. You don't. That's because y'all got that persona.
I had told J-Lo before the kind of collapse happened that I thought, honestly, and J-Lo can speak to this. I said to him after our 49er game, I said, it's one game, we beat you. But I said to him, and he knows what I'm going to say, I said to him, I think if all goes well, it's a collapse for the Super Bowl again. I honestly said that to him because I thought that's what we were on, another collision course for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
That game actually showed ready for the Super Bowl, and that's when I kind of realized, and that's when I think most players in the locker room realized that we're a long road season ago. And like I said, it's hard to repeat. It's hard to go back to back, but the decline that we did through the course of the season, that's just unheard of. That's why a couple weeks here you probably see a lot of change, because that's what you could point to. And Dino, to your point about the secondary, I'm a secondary kind of guy. I play DB. The only DB that I want, like everybody else, everyone else should be.
All them guys, Maddox, all them guys gone.
Maddox, he's been on the Eagles for a while. He should be gone. Sidney Brown, he didn't play last game. Gone.
Hey, look, I'm a Washington.
Hey, you cut out on my end. Who did you say?
You
cut out on my end. Who did you say is the only guy that should still be there?
Oh, Darius
Slay.
So Bradberry gone.
Bradberry, all pro season last year. I don't know what happened. I don't know what he was doing, but he should be gone.
It can happen to you. It can happen to you. And it seems like a Josh Norman effect. The guy, he had an all-pro season, and then he kind of slide off. Jalen Ramsey, he's starting to get it back. He gets a slide off season. So hopefully, maybe Bradberry can be better somewhere else. But the Eagles, they don't want you there. Listen to my boy J-Lo. Don't come back, James.
Yeah, it's one thing to, miss an assignment in coverage or have an MA and, blown coverage or whatever. It's one thing to get beaten, man. But when you're not tackling, the stuff that you learn in Little League, that's when you know you're not playing with any heart. And that's what the defense did. Linebacker has been our weakest positions, even in the Super Bowl last year. We can bring guys like Shaquille Leonard, Cunningham, guys like that.
Exactly.
That's what we do. We go get a two-time Pro Bowl safety from Tennessee Titans, Kevin Byard. So Howard Roseman, they made the adjustments mid-season. They'll get these guys, and it still wasn't enough. So that's what I mean. Coaching, these guys wasn't prepared to play. So I don't know.
Yeah. So, hey, appreciate you, big dog. J-Lo coming on the stream. It's much love. You know, our ties run back to the football field. It's always much love to you, J-Lo. So I appreciate you for coming on. Shout out to J-Lo. Yes, sir. Let's get it.
I want to be back when Green Bay Packers beat the 49ers. All right, Vance?
All right.
Oh, okay. Shots at you, Vance. Shots at you, Vance. Hey, see you, J-Lo.
Love you,
Appreciate
J-Lo.
you, dog. All right. All right. Shout out to my boy J-Lo.
I'll remember that
much
one.
love there. A great dude, bro. If you meet him, that's a great guy right there in J-Lo. So, hey, we got Josh Allen, the Bills. They really running over Pittsburgh. We knew this was going to happen. This is why we got to it second or whatnot. And we don't usually see the Steelers do this in the cold game like this. Just Josh Allen running a little 65-yard down the sideline. The man's a dog, straight dog. He owned this game. And this team, and I'm going to say it right here, and I'm going to give it off to Vance, is starting to emerge as a Super Bowl favorite. I'm gonna say it. They're starting to emerge. This team is looking on site, on point, but we have a tough game next against them. Kansas City Chiefs. Go ahead, Vance.
So for me, as a Josh Allen fan, this was one of his most complete and put together games I've ever seen him play. He didn't turn the ball over. I don't know what the hell the Steelers defense was doing on that 52-yard touchdown run. Like, you missed 3 tackles on the guy. It's not like he's a speedster, but it's not like he's Lamar and you can't tackle the guy. I mean, I get he's 6'5", 250, but what you just said, Dino, I think is very accurate. They've always been great, but they've always ran into Kansas City or Cincinnati. Now they get Kansas City at home. So let me ask you something. Do you think as someone who's a Josh Allen fan and as someone who I enjoy watching the kid, do you think Buffalo is we talk about home field advantage? I feel like Kansas City could go in there and win. I don't want them to, but I think Buffalo is not as big of a home field advantage as one would think. Maybe if it's like this last game, like snow all over, maybe that changes things. But Kansas City is used to that too. So is that really a big home field advantage? Like, I love Josh Allen, but Kansas City can play with anybody.
Exactly. I think they could come in there and beat Kansas City. Has done it over and over again to come in here and beat any of these teams that's on in these playoffs for real. So yeah, that ain't seriously. Shoot.
Whoa.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I think another thing also is, I don't know if you know this, Dino, in the regular season, I think Josh Allen is, in the regular season, he's undefeated, and in the postseason, he's 0-2 against Patrick Mahomes.
Malfunctions.
Yeah. So I think
malfunctions.
Before you go here, before you continue here,
I don't know what happened. I was getting too hype. I'm getting too, I get about these football topics, but what we were saying was, and I'm gonna get back to it, right back to it. I'm gonna recover. It's gonna break down, but I'm gonna recover. So Josh Allen, they got Kansas City. They can come in. They're gonna beat these teams. They're gonna beat any of these teams. And Josh Allen, the kryptonite. It's gonna come down to it, but that's the narrative. Overtime is not your guy. Overtime is just not what you want to go against Kansas City in the playoffs. So y'all better be coming off booming. Y'all better be coming off running at James Cook. You better get Stephon Diggs the ball and Josh Allen. This is the number one thing that becomes your problem. You start to get away from running with your feet. In this game, you better run with your feet if you want to win this game.
I'm going to tell you why they don't need that, though. As someone who watches the Bills, because of Josh Allen's arm, because I mentioned that Clark Kent Superman. He can be Superman, but he can also become Clark Kent when he turns the ball over. Yes, he's going against another guy who's just as, or if not more talented than him. Where the problems come is when you rely too much on your running game. It worked against Dallas because, let's be honest, you know this and I know this, Dino. Dallas fans hyped up their defense. No one else did, only Dallas fans. My team's defense is not hyped up by the fans. You can see it with the way we play. We fly around. We have the most all pros of any team.
Yeah,
It's not hyped up by the fans.
It's a different motivation when your fans are around you and they get the fans are important. That's in any sport. You got fans yelling you on. You play with better intensity, and when you got a standard that y'all are ready to meet, and this Super Bowl is your standard, 49ers players like 49ers going to fly around. They gonna get to the ball. That Kansas City, they don't got their team around them this time, but Bills Mafia, you see them, they'll jump over tops of ice and jump on fire tables and stuff like that to get ready for this game. So you think that Josh Allen and the boys in the locker room ain't trying to run through a table? They trying to come out here and run through a table. They got something to prove this year. And I got
they have something to prove big time because Josh Allen, he's 0-2 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, but both times you're in Arrowhead. Now you get him in Buffalo. I've said, I think Buffalo wins this game. I'm going to go out and say it now. I think Buffalo wins this game, but I think Baltimore gets them.
I think so.
I think Josh gets the Super Bowl. I think if the next couple of years will be his shot because I feel like he's getting more mature with the ball. Let me explain what I mean. I mentioned the last time and even a second ago, the Clark Kent Superman thing I said to you, Dino. But I feel like he's knowing when he needs to throw a bomb and when he knows I can just make a routine play to like a check down here. I don't need to throw an 80-yard bomb to Diggs. I can do that. I just don't need to. I feel like he's getting more mature with like knowing when to be the hero, when to play hero ball, and knowing when to be another guy. That's why I feel like Buffalo isn't like, yes, at one point they were 6-6, but I feel like they're getting better. Whereas
they are
as time is going on, whereas some other teams we can't say that about.
Exactly. And that brings me to my point. Well, not kind of to my point, but we got to talk about him. Mike Tomlin is bringing me my point. Mike Tomlin is, you see the walkout. We seen the walkout with him. They don't like Mike Tomlin. Don't like to be questioned. I don't think his job should be in question. But if Nick Sirianni, he just took you to 10 games and he just won you a Super Bowl and they've been good with Jalen Hurts and they got the leadership and stuff like that. Why should Mike Tomlin's jobs be secured? 0-5 in the last 5 playoff games. You're making the playoffs a lot of go at a time, but you're winning, or you'll miss the playoffs but still have winning records. Haven't had a losing season from Mike Tomlin. That's a good head football coach. But at a certain point in time, are we just trying to win, or are we trying to grab the big one?
So I actually talked to a friend of mine about this today just to get some input because I knew we were doing this. They said to me, Mike Tomlin, he feels like people I've talked to, there's a disconnect. And what he means by that is the fact that, yes, he's never had a losing season, but you haven't won a playoff game since 2016. So, yeah, you don't want to have a losing season, but at what point is a losing season going to be the last straw? Because you can go 9-8 every year, but you're not guaranteed playoffs. This is an organization.
It really seems like it really seems like you're just going for not losing seasons. Like, that's what it's starting.
I agree with you. I'm 100% with you.
Like how they're promoting it, it makes it seem like, or that franchise just make it seem like, we're just trying to be good.
And that franchise is built on rings.
Yeah, exactly. It's built on rings, and Bill Belichick built on rings. So I just feel like this. Yeah, Bill Belichick had the worst seasons. He's having decent seasons. And the decent seasons are the only reason why Tomlin is keeping his job. One losing season, they ready to fire you and get you up out of there. This is probably Mike Tomlin's last season of trying to do that we're trying to just have a positive record. No, you need to go out here and have that 11-0
title
season
game
you had with Big Ben. You know what I'm saying? You need to go out and do stuff like that. This time, you do something. They say they might be bringing him back 2024, but this time, you on the hot seat, baby.
I agree with you. Did you see the video, Dino, of, I think it was a female reporter. I don't remember. It was after the game, and they said, you have 1 year left on your contract. Are you Are you coming
That's
back?
what
And he just walked out. I'm like, this guy's. I'm like, one. He's
Yeah,
either
that's
mad
what
at
I
that
was
reporter
referring
or
to.
he's done with it. Yeah, I'm like, he's either mad at this reporter or he's done with this team.
Yeah, he just. Honestly, bro, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm walking out off the stage too, because he knew that it was. The thing is, Mike Tomlin knew it was coming. He knew that question was coming. He was like, in his
He
mind, he
had to
said,
have.
if they asked me
He
this
had to know it was
question,
coming.
yes, he said, if y'all ask me this question, I'm walking out. That had to be in his mind already, just by his face. Like, nah, I'm good. Like, nah, I've been winning y'all games. You see the quarterback carousel I've been having, but like I said, I don't know if Tomlin is the head football coach and a GM. We got that with Bill Belichick. That's some type of thing we got going on here, because at this point, y'all gotta look at Kenny Pickett and say he's not the answer, because the guy's not.
I 100% agree with you. And as the Steeler fans that I talked to today, some of them have held out hope that he still is the guy long term. Some have given up, but I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to word this the nicest. You have to, in your mind, this is what I've said about Trey Lance. We spent 3 first-round picks on Trey Lance and a third-round pick. In your mind, move on. If Kenny Pickett's not the guy, he's not the guy. You can keep him on the team,
Exactly.
but in your mind, you got to be done with him. If you know he's not the guy, keep him on the team as an injury reserve guy. But in your mind, move on.
Exactly. Plus the injury and Rudolph coming in doing what he did, that's kind of like another heavy set of boot right there on top of that already. That's already there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has another layer of, this is the reason why we should get rid of you, because Rudolph is playing better than you. This is the reason why I should get rid of you, because you can't throw over 100 yards to save your life. This is the reason why I should get rid of you. We got rid of our offensive coordinator because we're thinking it's our offensive coordinator that's not getting it done. But now, since you've been in, you're not getting it done and you're getting injured. So he just has too much stacked on him to say he's coming back to Pittsburgh next season. I can see the Steelers drafting, either trading for a quarterback, signing a quarterback. Is a guy like Russell Wilson on your radar, because he's getting cut? You know what I'm saying? That's a good spot.
I think if Russell Wilson comes there, this is just from. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think if Russell Wilson goes there, Mike Tomlin would still be there. I don't think you go into the unknown of a new coach with Russell Wilson at quarterback. Where do you stand on that, though?
So you think they should go somewhere else?
I think if Russell Wilson goes to Pittsburgh, you keep Mike Tomlin, because you don't want the unknown of a new coach with a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I think
Wilson.
I think Russell if he goes to Pittsburgh,
Russell Wilson, a guy like that.
100%.
Yeah, I think a guy like Russell Wilson, a guy like that, he should be getting put with a veteran coach, even though Sean Payton didn't work out. I feel like there will be a better relationship between Tomlin and Russell Wilson there, that'll have them on the same side, because he started to ball out. The only reason why they played bad on the back half of the season, he has in his mind that he's getting cut anyways, because his contract is too much, and they trying to take his payout, and they already told him you're gonna be cut if you don't bring your contract down. So why am I even trying? Makes no sense. So playoff.
Do you think
predictions, divisional? We're gonna go over to that. We're gonna finish it off with that, and I'm gonna bring up these playoff brackets in a second. Let's get to them. Here we go, right here. Playoff bracket. Let's get it. Divisional. Let's predict it right now. Me and fans predicting the playoffs. So we got AFC the Texans versus the Ravens. You can start on this one. Texans versus the Ravens. Who you got? Let's get it.
I think the answer is the Ravens. I wouldn't, however, I don't think the Texans win. I'm not shocked. I would not be shocked at all if they put up a great fight. I mean, look what we said.
Exactly.
We didn't pick them against the Browns, and they killed the Browns.
I didn't pick them to go in the playoffs. I didn't even pick them there, so they surprised them already.
So they beat the Browns, and no one expected that. Do they beat Baltimore? No. Well, I think it'll be a great game, though. What about you?
I think Ravens absolutely stomp and crush these guys. Send them back to Houston. Not even going to play with them. Ravens, you've been in this situation already too many times to be coming out of the bye week and losing, straight up flopping. There's been a lot of flops here and there. We've been talking about them today. Shout out my boy J-Lo, Eagles, Cowboys. We seen the flop that they had going on. That was a bit of a suspicion. Now we got the Ravens coming out of the bye week. You had three weeks of rest. Sometimes rest can mess you up, but you didn't have more rest. Y'all didn't have more to talk it over. Y'all know the team y'all going against now for a little bit of time here. I think you come in here prepared. You got more of the rest. You got some time with your family. You came back a little bit, got worked out, and you should be running this team over. CJ Stroud is the best or the greatest rookie I've ever laid eyes on. I'm going to say that the guy's a beast, but this is a different beast in the Ravens this year. Their defense is moving, and that offense is moving with Zay Flowers, OBJ, and that big boy, electric guy, Lamar Jackson. Doing the things like that, I think this is a run over. Let's head over to our next game, and I'm gonna send it over to Vance. We got Kansas City. We got Kansas City versus the Lions. Who we got against?
I'll take
Kansas City
Buffalo.
versus the Bills.
I'll take
Buffalo Bills, my fault.
I'll take
Buffalo Bills against Kansas City Chiefs. We know this game is going to be turned. What you think about it, Vance?
I'll take Buffalo. I think third time's a charm for Buffalo. They host them because of the 2 seed. I think Josh Allen gets over that hump of Patrick Mahomes because he's beaten him, but not when it matters. He's only beaten the regular season. I think he gets over the hump and gets that monkey off his back.
I think it finally happens. I think this is the year. I'm with Vance right here. He got the Bills. I'm going with the Bills, baby. It's time for Bills Mafia to stand up and y'all finally get in here and get a chance to win one. At least make the AFC Championship, baby. Get to the AFC Championship. But your goal this year is to make that Super Bowl. This is because over the last couple years, we didn't thought y'all would have been in one, but you ultimately flopped against multiple teams, mainly the Kansas City Chiefs. Bengals got in there. We seen what they did here and there, but y'all should have really been the Bengals. Y'all should have got through at least once. You agree with me, Vance? Like they should have popped over into the Super Bowl at least once.
I do agree with that, but I feel like Josh Allen, when he gets there, it's going to be because Buffalo. I don't know if you know about the history of Buffalo. They've made 4 in a row, lost all 4. When Buffalo win one, that season's going to go nuts.
Yeah. So to Buffalo, it means a lot for Buffalo. Them coming off the back half of their season playing really well. Josh Allen looking like an MVP. We've seen the stride he had against the Steelers, and that's a Mike Tomlin coach team. Just because they was hurt a little bit, don't mean that Tomlin didn't have these guys ready to play football. So for him to do something like that, that's a dog right there. Next, we got the Bills Mafia. Finally get this one, Kansas City. I'm tired of seeing them in the Super Bowl. They starting to act like a Brady type team. It's like it's starting to start over with these Brady type teams. We don't want that again. I don't want a Brady type team again. Let's get some different teams in there. And shout out to the Texans. Shout out to the Lions. They could be their first time ever making the Super Bowl. And I'm shouting out for those teams to pull through maybe and get one for their franchise. And that will mean a lot for Houston. And that'll mean a lot up there in Chicago. I mean,
Detroit
and Michigan. Detroit,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Michigan.
Yeah.
They up there somewhere with them. Moving on, NFC side. We're gonna talk about your boys here. We got your boy San Francisco, Brock Purdy, Debo. These guys flashing here and there. Kansas City. I mean, not Kansas City, 49ers running all through that field. Purdy, he getting into the ball in spots. Now, who we think we got? Green Bay and Jordan Love, who just knocked off the Cowboys. Or we got Brock Purdy. I know where you going with. Go ahead and set the floor, man.
I'm going with the Niners because Green Bay beat the Cowboys, and so did we. So I feel like we can beat them. Now, I don't mean this to be cocky, but Green Bay. Let's think about this, Dino. Let's talk about this together. Have Green Bay played a defense like this with all pros all over that defense? Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave. Travarius Ward.
Cowboys defense has gotten worse. They had injuries here and there, but that's still a good defense. They played them, but the 49ers is a different animal. This is a different beast. And Jordan
Ask
Love
Philly.
still rookie to this game, even though you sat behind Rodgers for a couple years. Shout out to the development of quarterbacks in Green Bay because Jordan Love's a baller. But I don't see this as a close game. I don't
Ask Philly.
think Vance sees it as a close game.
No,
but I'm
I
gonna let him
don't.
finish his take.
I don't. Like, ask Philly. Like, Philly was 10-1 and we destroyed them. I feel Green Bay for me is what we would call a great story.
Exactly.
It's a great story, but I feel like with our
good
defense,
story. Like,
you go ahead.
That's just like the Texans. Texans, good story. Detroit, good story. One of these good story teams need to get up out of here. It's eventually one of them are going to go, and I see Green Bay going, and I see the Texans going, and I think Detroit they might win a game here against the Buccaneers. Let's go ahead into it because we know who's going to win that game. The 49ers are going to run them over clean, and Green Bay are going to get sent out of here. You played hard against the Cowboys, like I said in another stream, and I know Vance knows what I'm talking about. If you're a team like the Cowboys, your team like the Yankees, your team like the Lakers, that game is circled, is marked, and you know the history of Green Bay and the Cowboys. So they was going to come out and play hard regardless.
I want to say something about that before we go on. I actually heard a crazy stat. You're going to laugh at this because I did. Did you know since AT&T Stadium's been a thing, Green Bay have won more games at AT&T Stadium than Cowboys have playoff games at their own stadium. Green Bay's beat them more at their own field than they've won at their own field.
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy. And that's why you gotta move. And we're gonna talk about it just for a little bit right here. Just for a little bit right here. You see what I'm looking at, Vance. Shit, Bill Belichick go to the Cowboys. Is Mike McCarthy done? Is Dak done? Do you clean house? What do you do for the Dallas Cowboys since you flopped in this situation? And if you hear my boy in the background, he's a yeller.
I'll say it like this. I don't think this relationship would work. Not that I don't want it to. I just don't think it will. I say that because Jerry Jones is both owner and GM. When Bill was at the Patriots, he was GM and coach. So I don't think that relationship would work. Not that I don't want it to. But at the same time, you can't get rid of Dak because I think McCarthy's gone. That goes without saying. Now, anyone with a brain knows you can't get rid of Dak. I say this with all respect. Do you know what the cap hit is, Dino, if you get rid of Dak this offseason?
Honestly, it's
It's $63.5 million. You're not getting rid of Dak this offseason. You're not doing it.
You're not doing it, but look at teams like the Broncos. They just set the bar. They just set the stage of if it's not working, it don't matter what the cost is. I'll lose this 40-something, $50 million a year for the next 2 years and dead cap money for Russell Wilson. What did it say? I've been with Dak for I don't know how many years, and it's been the same result every single time. And you had the same amount of years as Tony Romo. You done have the same amount of playoff wins together. That makes no sense. And since I think I've seen a stat out there where the Texans got more playoff wins than Tony Romo and Dak Prescott combined. And if you know the Texans don't be here a lot, that's crazy. So that's another thing with Dak Prescott. I just feel like this project of what's going on here. You got Trey. Remember, these guys picked up Trey Lance they didn't pick him up for no reason. Remember, that's still a first rounder. We can bring in a young coach and say, forget it. We're going to start Trey Lance this game this next year, and we're going to see where our team goes. A guy who can move the pocket like that at Trey Lance, a guy who's with the Bisons who could throw a deep ball, and you got CeeDee Lamb on that team. Why don't we start fresh, start young? You already got Michael Parsons. You already got guys like Diggs. Let's just start young.
I like Trey Lance. I do.
Taking too long.
I like Trey Lance. I do. But I've watched a lot of film on the kid. He struggles to see basic concepts that maybe it's because he only started 19 games in college. Brock Purdy started 48. He struggled to see basic concepts in preseason against the Broncos 2 years ago. I watched some film on him. He didn't know what a cover 2 defense was. He threw it over the middle against cover 2 defense. It almost got picked off twice. Back-to-back plays. He couldn't read a cover 4 defense. It's like, I don't play football, and I know what these are.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know? Like, how
cover
are you not reading
two,
that?
cover two. If he throws through the middle, it should be open. So that should be open. But sometimes you throwing it right to a player, it could be different here and there, and that could be a problem. He's just not seeing the field right in Trey Lance. But that's why you develop a player.
Yeah.
You see his abilities. I don't know why these teams don't say just develop him. Dak Prescott. That's the thing. The Cowboys, this was your last year to do it. This is your last try. Mike
This
McCarthy
is your last
he's
best
done.
shot.
Dak Prescott, it's starting to be done. You done been here way too long. Like I said, there's players who've been here way too long. And in the concept of what the schemes keep going, it should be done. And I
So, do you
think
think we have an Eagle? Do you think we have an Eagle situation on our hands? Start it over.
I think we got an Eagles situation on our hands where they said, I'm starting over. After that type of flop, that was a shocking flop. That was you're done and over for. That was bad. So let's get back on topic in these playoffs. Final game. We got Buccaneers and the Lions. I'll set the floor for this one. The Lions, you didn't got too far to come here. The Buccaneers, they just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago with Tom Brady. They just won 1, 2, 3 years ago with Tom Brady. You didn't already got one this era. The Detroit Lions have not won a division in all of their football. All of their football. They haven't went to a Super Bowl ever. This is the time. This is your year to make it to at least the NFC Championship. If you're going to lose to the 49ers, okay, but your team with the NFC Championship, but just give yourself a chance to get there. Don't go out here and lose to Baker Mayfield, which had been playing great, but came off of from leaving the Browns, went to the Panthers, Rams, whatnot, jumping over team. The team has improved, but the Lions, you got too much to lose here. You got to win this game.
I'm with you. I think the Lions win this game. I like Baker. I don't think this game will be close. I really don't. It's 3 versus 4, but I just don't think it'll be close. I think the Lions get to the NFC title game. What are your thoughts on the score? Do you think this game's close?
I think this game would be shocking if the Lions lose. I think it would be a shocker to me because just how much y'all got to lose here. I get the last week y'all had the Matthew Stafford against Jared Goff in the revenge game and stuff like that. So you got to take it on a whole nother level and another stage of playing y'all former teams. So I knew that was going to be a maestro. I knew that wasn't going to be a distance of a game. But in this one, this better be a distance of a game, and y'all better win at least by 2 touchdowns. Lions, Detroit, y'all stand up, bro. Y'all got to get in there. Appreciate y'all for coming to the stream. Me and Vance, we like getting to it. We like this sports talk. We coming out at you with breaking news. Hit that subscribe button for your boys. Hit that subscribe button for me and Vance. We're getting past 1,500, 540, something like that. Try to get us up there. Maybe we can hit 2K. Maybe we can hit 2K. I need your help, your support. I thank y'all. Shout out to my boy Vance. You can say what you're going to say, Vance.
It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully we can continue doing this soon.
Yeah.
Try and do this more often.
Yeah. Let's keep talking that sports. Let's keep hitting with these hot takes. We keep growing. Y'all keep sending that love. I thank y'all for tuning in to Lace 'em Up Sports Talk Show. Shout out to y'all, baby. God bless.